Welcome back. Given bad financial performance, Adidas has confirmed plans to sell its Reebok brand after 15 years of ownership. Adidas CEO has come to the conclusion that Reebok and Adidas will be able to significantly better realize their growth potential independently.
German sportwear maker Adidas plans to sell or spin off its underperforming Reebok brand. Adidas bought Reebok for $3.8 billion in 2006. However, the selling price now looks to be between 1.2 up to $1.8 billion only. In November, Adidas said Reebok sales fell by 20% in the 9 months to 30 September, a slightly faster pace than the group's core brand as the company was forced to close stores during lockdown. A report from Reuters notes Reebok sales fell by 7% in the third quarter of 2020, as much as 44% in the prior quarter. From all sources, IDX Channel.
Ever wonder why Adidas and Reebok store has always been side to side? Those two companies did merger in 2005 up until now. However, there is a statement from CEO of Adidas that said Reebok and Adidas will be able to significantly better realize their growth potential independently of each other. In other words, Adidas has announced plans to put its Reebok brand up for sale. Reebok is no longer profitable to Adidas and it lead to burden Adidas. Therefore, in the next graphic, let's see how is Adidas's financial performance so far. As you can see, in 2019, Adidas's revenue in the second quarter in 2019 in the level of $6.2 billion, but the number decreased quite significant, as much as 35%. In 2020, $4.2 billion. This one is taken from Reebok's financial statement. And the sharp decline was sponsored by declining Reebok's revenue. Reebok's revenue dropped by 42% to just $270 million. Because Reebok and Adidas is the same entity. Therefore, it dragged Adidas' financial performance as well. Actually, Adidas is already aware that Reebok has underperformed in recent years and lost market share. The proportion of Adidas's income that comes from Reebok has fallen since a couple years ago. In 2007, for example, a quarter of Adidas's total retail sales, which was more than $2 billion came from Reebok. But then this has steadily declined over the past decade. And in the quarter to June 2020, Reebok made up just 6.4% of Adidas's total sales. Sometimes it's best to just admit that you cannot make something work, right? At the first place, Adidas bought Reebok, hoping it would help the company take on Nike more effectively in the US market. And thanks to Reebok's long-standing credibility with basketball players and its then licensing deal with the National Basketball Association. And let's see how much it costs for Adidas to acquire Reebok in the next graphic. In 2016, Adidas acquired Reebok as much as $3.8 billion, but the selling price is approximately 1.2 to 1.8 billion. And it is definitely that Adidas suffering from loss from the data, as you can see on the screen. And goodbye to $3.8 billion. Adidas CEO Kasper Rorsted hopes to make at least $2.4 billion from selling the Reebok. But he is now open to accepting less. By previous scenario, Adidas could potentially end up receiving around only half of what it paid for Reebok 15 years ago. Adidas acquired Reebok 15 years ago in an attempt to expand its presence in the US market and to beat its rival, Nike. Nike is also the market leader for sportwear. Let's see how Nike maintains the market leader through its jumbo revenue in the athletic apparel industry. As you can see, this is Nike's revenue worldwide from 2016 to 2020. Nike recorded the highest revenue in 2019. It was on the level of 39.1 billion US dollar. But in the pandemic time, or 2020, Nike's revenue worldwide reached 37.4 billion US dollar. We compiled the data from Bloomberg. And Adidas has not yet disclosed its 2020 financial report yet. Probably it will come by March. However, we can assess it from revenue for the quarter ending September 2020 was 6 billion US dollar. And when Nike posted 39.1 billion US dollar revenue in 2019, Adidas was only able to post 26 billion US dollar. Quite far, right? These figures include not only Nike and Adidas branded footwear, but also Converse, which is owned by Nike, and Reebok owned by Adidas. Plus point, Converse contributes very high revenue to Adidas, but Reebok doesn't give much to Adidas. Things get worse when pandemic hit the world. Reebok has become a drain to Adidas's resources, and it is time to let go. There are several options for Reebok after Adidas. What are those? Let's see it through the next graphic. This is what to look for Reebok. The first one is spun out into an independent company, sold to another retailer, and sold to private equity. We compiled the data from Forbes. And sold to another retailer may be the best option. VF Corp, which owns outdoor apparel brands, including Timberland, Vans, and North Face, as well as Fila, is one of Reebok potential buyers so far. Despite bad financial performance, Reebok in recent years had tried to position itself as go-to for highly athletic individuals with high-profile partnership in UFC and CrossFit. In other words, strategic position of the brand is good, so it will attract buyer. And even though in the end of Adidas has took out Reebok for greater good, there's still considerable brand equity for Reebok, and yes, there's an opportunity for Reebok to be successful without Adidas. Don't go anywhere. Market Headlines, because by Catalyst, we will be right back after the break.